All right, all right. I want to thank you all so much for joining us tonight for our Master Your Money, Master Your Life Masterclass. My name is LaShanya Young, and I'm your host. And I'm so grateful for you joining us. I know we just had election day yesterday, and so a lot of people are probably still caught up with the results of the election, whether they were favorable or not, in your opinion. I'm just grateful for you taking the time out to join us tonight as we launch into mastering your money, master your life. Okay. So, what made me talk about this, or what makes me qualified to talk about mastering your money? Well, maybe it's because I was a mom, a teen mom at the age of 15. And then I went on to have another child at the age of 17, 18, just a little bit over 18. I had another one at 19. And by the time I was 22 years old, I found myself raising four children. So I think I'm qualified to talk a little bit about money. And if that isn't enough, then let's talk about me starting this business 11 years ago without any investors. I didn't have any savings. I didn't even have a business plan of any kind. As a matter of fact, I had actually just gotten fired from my job. And so the chances of starting a business, as you've heard, many of you have heard me share, were slim to none. But here I am 11 years later, celebrating 11 years of business. And budgeting was a big part of that. And my lack of budgeting was actually a big part of that. So as I aspire each and every day to help my business owners, to help individuals, that is what brought me here to Master Your Money, Master Your Life Budgeting Masterclass, because so many people, like myself, going again from teen mom to business owner, lack the budgeting skills. And so the things that I'll be talking to you today about are not necessarily brand new. Many of you know about budgeting. It's a word that we hate, that B word that we hate to hear, we hate to talk about, think about. But if you're going to be successful, not only in life, but especially in your business, you're going to need to know some basics and some tools and know how to set up a budget, know how to stick to a budget so that you can get to your goals and your destination a lot sooner. So I have just some great information here that I want to present to you. Like I said, some of it you probably have heard before. All of it you may have heard before. But anything that I can do to help, I'm definitely the one to want to help everybody to learn how to budget, me to be more diligent about it. And here we go. So I actually have a participant hand guide. So if you look down in the chat, you'll see that I've dropped that in the chat. So if you want to open that up, you can follow along with the things that we're going to be talking about today. So I need you to give me just a second though, because I forgot to grab mine off the printer. So I'm sorry to have to step away, but I will, and I will be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Thank you so much for sitting still while I stepped away. So, this actually is supposed to be a master class. It's going to be four parts. Okay. So, we're going to nail the first part, though, which is about the basics of budgeting. Okay. So, what I want to do is introduce a foundational budgeting concepts to you today and to help you to eventually here create a personalized budget. So, let's talk about what is an actual budget. So, and a budget is actually a plan. It's actually a financial plan that outlines the expected income and expenses over a specific period, okay? Usually monthly, and it helps us to manage our money, prioritize spending, and save for future goals, okay? And that's exactly one of the key things or the key elements of having a budget, having a goal. Because the reason why I'm spending so much time talking about budgeting is because as a single parent, and I actually now have five children, eight grandchildren along with that. As a single parent, I definitely had limited resources. And then turning into a small business owner, starting out, money, and a lot of the mistakes that I made, or a lot of my growth was impaired because I lacked budgeting skills. So the things I'm sharing with you are the experiences that I've had, and if I can help anyone to avoid some of the things that I did, early on, and most of it surrounded budgeting, then hey, I'm about that help. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, like I said, we're going to talk a lot about, I'm going to try to share, if technology will let me be great, I'm going to try to share a whiteboard here, and you should be able to see what I print as we go along here. Okay. So one of the things that I do want to point out here, hold on, let me see if I'm doing this right. I believe I am. All right. So it's kind of hard to use this. It's kind of hard to use this when you're using this little tool. But what I do want to do is go over here, and I just closed out my whiteboard. Okay, let's try it again. So the whiteboard, you should be able to jump on here. I'm going to get back into it. Okay. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to draw over here what I believe is a goal, okay? Because I think that's where the majority of us lack budgeting skills, because we don't really have any goals, right? So goals are so important, because the longer you don't have any goals, and don't laugh at my drawing skills here, guys. I'm not the artist. I've got grandkids that are amazing artists, but I'm going to do my best to draw what I think is a goal. I actually attended my first soccer game a few weeks ago with one of my grandbabies, and it was really interesting. So this is supposed to be a net. I know you guys are cracking up laughing at me out there. This is a lot harder than you think. Okay, so here is our net. Here is where, our goal. And this here, I just drew this up here just because I'm a visual person. And as long as I can see things and they make sense to me, then it definitely helps me a lot better. So this is supposed to be a soccer goal, okay? And then I'm going to draw my soccer ball up here. And I know y'all are going to laugh, because the last time I tried to draw this, it started out looking like a Powerpuff Girl. Remember those girls? But eventually I was able to make it look as much like a soccer ball as possible. So, all right. So this here is just a visual that I want to give you. Okay. Throwing and every time we deviate from our plan, deviate from our budget, we're delaying our destination. Okay. Our destination is our goal. And what is a goal? What could be a goal? A goal could be, buying a house. I know that's a big one for me. A goal can also be buying, getting out of debt. Okay. What are some other goals? Well, part of getting out of debt, of course, is tackling student loans and credit cards. So there's all kinds of things here. Oh my God. Can you guys read that? All right. So student loan, what else? Going on a vacation. Some of us just have like a goal to go on a vacation. Okay. So gosh, that is terrible. I got to get my pen. I forgot to grab that. But anyway, so we can have all kinds of goals, okay? And that is the one thing we want to keep our minds on. We want to keep our minds on the goal, because the more we deviate from the goal, the more we deviate from the plan, the longer we delay our destination. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I have tried buying a house so many times. I've gotten right there, and then things happen. And what did I do? Instead of keeping my eyes on the goal, the plan, I would go get back in debt or do something crazy. And here we are. I am just on the brink of buying my first house. Now, part of that was that, the type of home that I want. I didn't want just if I can call this a cookie cutter home. I mean, I know we have to crawl before we walk, and the starter homes and all that, but because of where I am in life, this one that's coming has to be my forever home. So, that was part of the delay. But let me get right into what I came here to talk about today, and that is how to set up a basic budget, right? Because I promise you that is 99%. That ratio is a little high, it might be, but I'm just going to use it because I really believe 99% of our issue is not knowing where our money is going, right? So, I've shared a statistic, or actually, yeah, a statistic that I heard a friend of mine say. They said some months ago, $27.40. So $27.40, guys. If you do that, 27.40, it seems like such an insignificant amount, but if you got your calculator up, go ahead and do it. $27.40, guys. Do you know how much that is if you spend this on miscellaneous stuff? Starbucks. I don't mean to pick on Starbucks. Yeah, Starbucks, because I'm a Starbucks fan. I frequent Starbucks, but once I started looking at things and wondering why I wasn't reaching my goals, wondering why I hadn't bought my house, wondering why my debt wasn't going anywhere. Now I'm really good at, paying off my credit card debts and keeping those, under a certain utilization rate, but it's that miscellaneous spending. So if you take this $27.40, multiply by 365 days, guys. Anybody do the math for me? Drop it in the chat if you've already done the math. 2740 times 365, you got it right. $10,001 is what that averages out to be. $10,000, my goodness. And that's just by 2740. That 2740 comes out to be about $191 a week. So listen, so when I say 99% of our problem, or 90% of us, our issue is that we don't know where our money is going, I think I'm pretty close. Okay. So $27.40 a day, guys, or any combination of that, if you're doing it a week, if you're doing $800 a month, and some of us know that we can really blow a budget, we can really blow through some money, but it's not realizing it, not putting it into, practical terms, which is what's hindering so many of us. So what I wanted to do is help you with setting up a basic budget. Now, you please bear with me here. I'm kind of in the camera and I'm still trying to master doing these classes. Okay. So I've got the whiteboard up. I'm hoping that you can see that. And so let me get my screen back here to where I want it. I do need to still see the whiteboard here. Let me get that pulled back up. All right, can you guys still see that? Okay, so here we are with the budgeting. Let me make sure sharing my screen. Oh, okay. No, you guys can see it. Sorry about that. All right. So we drew our little goal here. And then over here, I want to talk about, basically give you some ideas on how to set up a budget. Okay. What I did is here recently, actually, I'm going to clear this out. I actually hate to clear it out because I want it to kind of, maybe I can keep it. Y'all don't laugh at me. I know y'all like, how's she going to teach us on budgeting? She can't even um, figure out how to work that board over there, but I'm going to get better. Okay, there we go. Let me slide that over. Okay. So what I do, guys, is I actually sit with clients, okay? And we set up a basic budget, okay? I set the budget up, I print everything out, because as I've already said, knowing where your money is going is like 90% of the battle, right? Because the majority of us, we have never sat down. Matter of fact, I was in the gas station a few weeks ago, and I was telling, excuse me, a young lady about my budgeting classes, and she just said, you know what, I don't even want to know. And I'm like, there you go. So what you don't know can hurt you, because remember, we're talking about goals here. We're talking about, why haven't we gotten out of debt? Why haven't we purchased that first house? Why haven't we paid off student loans? Okay. And the majority of us, the first thing we want to say is, oh, I need more money. And who couldn't use more money, guys? Who could not use more money? But oftentimes more money means more spending, right? If we haven't developed habits, good spending habits, and most importantly, if we haven't learned how to effectively budget, well, then getting more money is only going to cause us to spend more. Perfect example. I had a client come in some weeks ago or months ago, earlier in the tax season, and we were very very relatable, and so they said, I got a raise for $5, but it doesn't feel like it. I got a raise for $5 an hour and it doesn't feel like it. And that's a pretty substantial raise, guys. You take $5 an hour on a 40-hour work week, that's an extra, like, what, $200 a month? $5 times 40. Yeah, that's $200 a week. I'm sorry, you take that times four, that's an $800. That's quite a bit. That's like paying your rent, just in a raise. And so this person said, "Yeah, I got the raise, but I don't feel like it. It still feels the same. Feels like I'm still struggling." And I asked them, I said, "Can I ask you something?" And they said, "Yeah." And I said, "What was the first thing you did when you got that raise? Did you go buy some Jordans?" I'm not picking on Jordans. I'm just saying this is where some of us live, right? And the individual, the client, just cracked up laughing. And I said, "Uh-huh, I know you think I'm trying to tell you what to do with your money and I'm trying to bash Jordans, but no, I'm not. The point I'm making is most of the time, unless we have goals, okay, unless we have our heart set on accomplishing a certain goal, when we get more money, we are going to just spend more. It's a proven fact. Okay. That client is one of many that, constantly goes through that cycle. And I went through that cycle for years where I would get more money and, sometimes I would go and I would pay debts off. But the majority of the time when I got more money, I spent more. When I started to make more money in my business and did not have goals, then I found myself just on this hamster wheel trying to figure out, well, how is it that, when I didn't have a business and I was making less than $50,000 that I was able to make it. It was a struggle, but then I'm making twice that now, for example, and I'm still struggling. So I was that person, guys. So I'm more than qualified to try to help you. So let me dig in, go ahead and dive in here. And what I do when my clients come to me is we sit down and we set up a basic budget. Okay, so what I did with this, and this is a case scenario that I did here recently, okay? I helped this client set up a budget because they had no clue where their money was going, right? So I had them set up a budget, okay? And we just set up this person had income of about $3,200 a month. Okay. So $3,200 a month. And then they had, their basic expenses. And guys, this situation really scared me because unfortunately, one of the necessary expenses was car insurance, and this person did not have the car insurance. Okay. And that was really scary. So, this person, their rent was like $1,300. Okay. That was rent. Okay. Oh God, this is looking so messy. They had a car payment, and that car payment was like $480. They had children, so their food bill, oh my God, that's terrible. Food was running them $600. That's supposed to be 480, guys. Let me try to do that again. All right, so that's supposed to be an eight. Oh wow. What an eight it is. So let's try that again. All right, so there we go. That was $480 for their car payment. So what do we have here? We have rent, utilities. This person, their utilities, they were paying approximately about $290 in utilities. Let me see. They had no real savings, but since they had kids, we did allow some discretionary income, which was $200. And with kids, $200 isn't a lot. So let's do the math there, guys. If you can pull out your calculators for me, if someone's already done the math, 1,300 plus $480, 600 for food, $290, and then they had another $200 that we put for discretionary income. So $2,870. Well, I've obviously forgotten a couple of the expenses because what this person ended up having, they only had $41 left at the end of the month, guys. $41. Okay. So I can't remember the other item, and my apologies for that. But guys, the point I'm making here is that this is where so many of us live. Okay. We just don't have a clue. And again, this person had this was just, and I think maybe my income was off. Maybe they had just a little bit less than 3,200. I want to say they may have only had about $3,000. So that might be why some of my numbers are off here. But guys, the point I'm making here is that most people haven't even done this. And then as you heard me say earlier, this person didn't even have car insurance. Okay. They had $41 left over at the end of the month, $41. Okay. So that means if any emergency arose, guys, all they would have was $41 to take care of that emergency. Okay, so let's talk about this though, because remember there were some basic expenses missing here. So, oh, gas, that's what it was. So their gas, their car payment alone, okay, was $480. And then they said they spent about $250, okay, on gas. So if we take that 250 from that 330, that left about 80. And then I do think we had a small savings budget of $40, okay? All right, so now let's do that math, guys. So if we add up, again, they did have 3,200. I think my income was correct. So $3,200. And that's just hypothetically speak here. If you have about $3,200 that you're bringing home after taxes, 1,300 is going to rent. Well, let me go in the right way. So $3,200 minus $1,300 for rent, minus that car payment, minus $600 food, minus another $290 for utilities, minus $200 for their discretionary income, minus $250, and then minus $40 for savings on a good day. So what that ended up doing is not coming out right. So let's go 1,300 plus 480 plus 600 plus 290 plus 200 plus 250. Guys, this goes a lot smoother when we're here in person. So that's still, so that came out to 2,620. So let me go 3,200. I'm usually much better than this. I know it's because I'm on this Zoom, I'm kind of nervous, but 3,200 minus 1,300 for rent. All right, there's half of it right there. And then this person had another 480 for their car payment. They spent another $600 a month on food. They spent another $290 a month on utilities. $200 of discretionary income. That's all the other little stuff that kids would need. And then they spent $250 a month on gas. Okay, and there we are. So then the little bit that they would try to save of $40, okay, that left them $40 a month. Okay, so guys, again, this is where we're at. So many of us haven't even taken the time to add up, just set up a basic budget to know what our basic expenses are. So what's so crazy about this, or what's so interesting about this? Well, let's go down the expenses that we have here. We have what? Rent, we have car payment, we have food, we have utilities. We do have a little bit of discretionary income, $200, guys, and that's with kids. I think this person had 3 kids. The gas for the car, you got to have gas for your car, and then a savings account, okay? And then that left them actually just $40 a month. Guys, any emergencies, anything coming up, this person is constantly in the red, because now notice that there were some expenses missing. Credit card, okay? You know, that guy Dave that likes to give you some of your money beforehand, okay? And I'm not picking on these things, guys. I'm just saying these are things that again, we're not mindful of, that by the time our check even hits our account, if we've got all these other little PayPal, that's another one. Oh God, guys, I was terrible about this. I had 13 PayPal paying for accounts at one point in time. I absolutely love PayPal. I absolutely love the option, especially when it's a big purchase. And if you don't have the cash flow, or you don't have all the money at once, it is a beautiful thing to be able to divvy that up into 4 payments. But guys, I was just doing things for the convenience, something that was $200. And I'm like, oh, all I have to do is pay $50 now. So, and you know, $50 every 2 weeks. But see, the problem is when you're on a limited income and you don't have a budget, what's happening is, and oh yeah, this person actually was paid every 2 weeks. So that means $1,800, rough, or well, no, I'm sorry. My math is just not math. About $1,600. Let me try that again. About $1,600 that this person had coming in every 2 weeks. Okay. So 3,200 was their monthly income, about 1,600 every 2 weeks. Right. So but if every 2 weeks, now, like I said, we haven't even dealt with the credit card payment. I think they had one credit card. So maybe that's where this $40 was the credit card payment. But if they've already borrowed, went and knocked on Dave's door, went online and said, "Hey, Dave, can you give me $200 of my money that's going to come on Friday? I need it today on Wednesday." Well, then now, if Dave gave him $200, well, now the $1,400 it's hit. There's only $1,400 coming to the account, and then those PayPal paying for, where you got PayPal, you got Affirm. Look, I'm telling on myself. I know what they are. What else? There's Afterpay. Okay. Let me see. There's a whole slew of them out there, guys. And I know I'm not the only one. So, guys, for years I did this. I did this. And so by the time my money would come to my account, would hit my account, I've already spent anywhere from $300 to $400. Now, I never used Dave. Okay. Dave was not my friend. He wasn't around when I was, struggling and doing with this, but those payday loans were, oh my God. We're not even going to talk about back in the day when I was raising my kids, and I had about 8 payday loans at one point in time. Now, this was back in the 90s before they regulated it. So, guys, I am more than qualified to talk about budgeting because I have definitely been through it all. So if you're not careful, guys, and this is where so many of us live, we are right here. We have so much coming out. We get paid on Friday, we're broke on Friday. We get paid on Wednesday, we're broke on Wednesday. Living paycheck to paycheck. Okay, some of us are living off of the end of the month's paycheck. We've spent so much of our money. We are so far in debt. We have so much of this stuff that we're doing, this PayPal, all this paying for, pay now, pay later stuff, that, guys, it's just out of control. And until we sit down and we do what I did with this client, and I do for so many of my clients, and this class isn't even about getting more clients, guys. This class is helping my existing clients because we're living in times where we got to know where our money is going. And then when you want to transition that, or when you either are thinking about starting a new business, or if you have these habits, these personal habits, and they're trickling into the business, well, then the business is going to suffer as well. And guys, that's where I was at for so many years. My business suffered because I did not have a budget. I was horrible at budgeting because I would make all this money during tax season, right? And because I didn't have a budget, I didn't have any real goals. I knew I wanted a house. Remember our goals over here? I wanted a new house, and I wanted to get out of debt, but I didn't have any real goals. I really didn't have a plan because what we just did here, I never sat down and wrote out what my actual expenses were. I mean, I had, some spreadsheets and things, but it wasn't something that I meticulously kept. I knew in my mind where how much my expenses were. I knew that I had to have $5,000 a month, to pay to cover both business and personal expenses. But, guys, actually sitting down and, writing this out and really sticking to a budget is what killed my finances for so long. And it was not until I started getting this. And I'm telling you, this $27.40 thing, I just got a hold of that last year. And by doing this, watching that miscellaneous spending, stopping in Dollar General, running in there, and I'm just going to get a roll of tape. And then, I see this. And oh, that's so cute. And oh, that's a nice picture. Oh, it's only $7. And that $1 roll of tape or snack or whatever I went in, now that's turned into $50. Guys, those are the things that are kill us, that will keep our money going down the drain. And that's where so many of us live. So, guys, that's what this course is all about. I'm actually going to, do more. We're going to talk more about how to, tackle credit card debt. Okay. We're going to do a course on how to deal with impulse shopping. I could spend the rest of the evening talking about impulse shopping, but I won't. So, guys, we're out of time. I am going to let you go for the evening, but I appreciate those of you that tuned in. Please watch for the link to register for the next class. Just to recap what we've done today, and as a homework assignment, I want you to do what you see here, just a basic budget, okay? Your participant handbook actually has some links in there. If you want to get real fancy with it and actually get out there, there's some links to spreadsheets and things that you can use to actually build out a budget. But just for homework's sake and just for simplicity's sake, guys, I want you to do what I did here. I want you to take out a sheet of paper. When we come back, the next time we come back, I want you to take out a sheet of paper, and I want you to write down your basic expenses, your rent, your car payment, your food, your utilities, liabilities and credit cards. Those of you that have credit cards and things, I want you to leave Dave and them and PayPal them off just for the purposes of the budget, right? So that you can see what your actual need is. This is what you actually need to live off of. And then you'll be able to then write another list of all the other stuff, the PayPal and all that. And the majority of us are going to find that we're in the red, that we are spending way too much money. So future classes are going to teach you how to tackle debt. But guys, I can only show you what's the saying, you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink. I can present the strategies and I can present the information, but overall, it's going to be up to you to be fed up and ready to tackle your debts, to get on a budget, know where that money's going. So if you master your money, you can master your life. I will see you next time, guys. Thanks for hopping on.